Hi guys, welcome to Cup and Bite, where we get a good rewind and a recap. In order for a good rewind and recap, I guess you'd need a good hearty meal. Today I made pork trotters. Now these pork trotters, I had already boiled them for a good 15 minutes in order to clean them out, to remove the excess dirt and a bit of the little hairs in between the trotters. But other people prefer the trotters with the extra texture. So this is me transferring the pork trotters back into the pot that I had initially used and cleaned afterwards. I'll be placing my pork trotters onto the ignited gas stove. Thank God I don't use an electrical stove because it's quite a lengthy process. So I'd be spending a lot on electricity. So that's me placing my pot onto the ignited flame. And I added about 3 cups of water. Well, this also depends on the amount of trotters that you have because obviously, if you're cooking with a slightly bigger pot, you'd obviously have to add slightly more water. Just make sure that your trotters are a bit submerged in water, but you also don't want to overfill your pot because as soon as you close it, when the boiling process starts, you don't want to have water overflowing out of your pot. When half of the water had now boiled down, I added a bit of spices. You can add anything. Other people prefer just salt. I guess it's plain enough for them. But I added 2 tablespoons of six gun. I added a chili beef cube to just add in some flavor and also added a bit of salt. At this point, most of the water in the pot had boiled, and I was left with pork trotters and an aromatic gravy. So I transferred that all into a bowl and decanted the gravy as well into the bowl. Now, with the same pot, I washed it to prepare for the frying of onions and green pepper just to add a bit of flavor. So I didn't measure this, but I could say you can add 2 tablespoons of cooking oil in order to fry whatever vegetables that you want. You could also add a bit of jalapeno if you want something to give you an extra kick. Now, I'll be distributing my oil on in the pot so that I could have even cooking of my onion. But just to be a bit careful, you don't want your oil to be too hot by the time you transfer your onion, because you will reach a point whereby you burn most of your onion, like I did, but it wasn't that bad. It was still edible. Guys, I love me some green pepper, but on this day I didn't really have enough, but I had an equivalent of about 2 tablespoons of green pepper, and I also used half of a medium-sized onion. Now, this is where you try and fry them together. Do not brown them a lot because you don't want them to burn like this. But it wasn't bad. I was still able to continue. So this is the point where I transfer back the trotters that I had removed initially. Now is the point where you need to do a bit of multitasking because I am now transferring the pork trotters into the pot that contains the fried onion and green pepper. But while doing this, I was stirring in order to avoid burning the onions even further. And I'd also suggest that you turn down the heat a little bit. And also, as soon as you're done adding all of your pork trotters, transfer the gravy as well into the pot. Now let that simmer for a good 2 minutes while you're stirring. When you're happy with the consistency of your onion, your gravy, and your trotters, this is the point where you need to now add one last time your 3 cups of water in order for you to boil it down for the last time in order for your pork trotters to be nice and tender. This is the point where I had already added the water and I still continued stirring just to make sure that there is nothing sticking on the surface of the pot. At this point, I was done stirring for consistency, and this is the point where I now closed my pot so that the trotters could boil for at least 45 minutes to an hour. Then afterwards, voila, you have your pork trotters that are delicious and literally fall off the bone. Enjoy!